Located in Hillside Cemetery, that's in Lindenhurst, Bergen County, New Jersey, is the grave of Jeff Hyman, known as Joey Ramone. He's located all the way towards the back, first or second row, first couple front rows. Not hard to miss. And I am Thomas, and as you just seen, we will be visiting the final resting spot of Jeff Hyman, Joey Ramone of the famous group the Ramones. Joey passed away in 2001 at the age of 49. And I've done a few videos on the Ramones, and I will link them on the bottom here. Grew up, the Ramones grew up in my own, in relatively speaking, my backyard. That's where they all formed. Now, they all had the name of, the Ramones. Had their names that they performed under was the Ramones, last name Ramones. Obviously, we don't know that that's not really their last name, but they were formed, grew up in Queens, and I know that there were other groups before them, but they are really, to me, kind of the founding fathers of punk. They kind of brought it to the mainstream, and although some of them have passed away, with the Ramones, their legacy lives on. You have Ramone shirts. You have young kids wearing Ramone t-shirts. Now, maybe their parents or their siblings or relatives described the Ramones. Maybe they didn't. They just figured, wow, that everyone's wearing this Ramone shirt. 40 years after they were born. Like, this is a cool shirt. Maybe I should wear it. And they start listening to their music. Shirts like that, like the Ramone shirts that you see people wearing. People wear Nirvana shirts as well. That's kind of generation to generation. They last forever. Metallica. New generations of, men and women are introduced to Ramones, and that says a lot. Especially in New York here, like, for example, and I think it's even across the country, where rock stations no longer exist. Rock stations where you would hear the Ramones are being replaced now by, country. They're being replaced by top 40. And that's all fine and dandy. Because these are business, these are corporations, and they're going to keep on the air what gives them ratings. But for us, rock fans and punk rock fans, we're losing places to hear our Ramones. And even satellite, even like Sirius, and even like Dash Radio, which is another one. It's hard to find the Ramones playing on the TV. I mean, on the radio, TV. But that's a testimony to the Ramones staying around and their legacy living on. Now, Joey Ramone, real name again, Jeff Hyman, Jewish. I think pretty much all of the Ramones were Jewish. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right. I think I am right. I do not know why he's buried here in New Jersey, because I think pretty much lived all his life in New York. I should have Should have prepared myself better, but yeah, nonetheless, I think that's the case. You know, Joey Ramone, Jeff Hyman, he was the lead singer of the Ramones. That image, that voice, made him a cultural icon. He, along with Johnny Ramone, who was John William Cummings, real name, are the only two original members who stayed in the band until it kind of disbanded in 1996. There was again the grave of Joey Ramone. Now, here's a trivia question for you. Joey Ramone, before he was Joey Ramone, what was he called? I know Jeff Ross Hyman, but the other answer, the other answer would have been Jeff Starship. Jeff Starship. That's the group that he played. He played for glam punk band called Sniper. And you could see a lot of people visit this grave, leaving mementos. Probably people make pilgrimages here all across the world. He big fan of the Beatles, The Who, David Bowie, The Stooges. He especially liked his idol, I guess, who he idolized. Supposedly was Keith Moon of The Who. And Joey Ramone, he took up the drums at age 13. Played him throughout his teen years before picking up the acoustic guitar at age 17. So we know that he was with Sniper to about 1974, and he was replaced then by an individual named Alan Turner. So in 74, Hyman he put together Ramones with John Cummings and Doug Colvin. Doug Colvin was Dee Dee Ramone. I believe Dee Dee Ramone is buried out there in California, if I'm not mistaken. So Colvin was already using the name Dee Dee Ramone, and the others also adopted stage names using Ramone as their surname. So Cummings became Johnny Ramone, and Hyman became Joey Ramone. The name Ramone, if you're wondering why, apparently it stemmed from Paul McCartney. He briefly used the stage name Paul Ramone, spelled Ramon, during 60 to 61, when he was with the Beatles. The Beatles at that point were pretty much unknown, and they were going by the name Silver Beatles. The Silver Beatles, yeah. And that kind of how it started. Now, Joey Ramone initially was the group's drummer, while Dee Dee Ramone was the original vocalist. However, when Dee Dee's vocal cords just couldn't, keep up, he said, "I had enough. I can't do it." And at that point, the Ramones' manager, who was Thomas Elderly, I did a visit to his final resting spot as well. He became known as Tommy Ramone. So he kind of made the suggestion to switch Joey Ramone to vocals. And the rest is history, as the kids say. um, again, major influence on the punk rock scene in the United States. Uh, various awards from VH1, Top 100 Greatest Artists, Rolling Stone, Spin actually named them the second greatest rock and roll band ever behind the Beatles. In '96, they played their final show, did the Ramones, in Lollapalooza, and then they kind of went their separate ways. But just a band that was iconic. Yeah, he and the vocal style of Joey Ramone, it was kind of what put the Ramones on the map. But his vocals matured and they deepened through his career, and Ramone's songwriting as well. It changed as well as he's growing up, and you have a notable difference from his initial melodic style, and then the Callows style. Notable tracks. The two notable tracks. Somebody Put Something in My Drink, and then you have Mama's Boy. Dee Dee Ramone said that all the singers in New York were copying David Johansen of the New York Dolls at the time, who was copying Mick Jagger. But Joey was unique, totally unique, and that's saying that no one could really match his style. And one of a kind. If you ever go into New York, go down to CBGB's, or it's not there no more. It's been replaced by another type of a store. A music club rather, but that's where the Ramones began their career. Go down to CBGB's. It's something else now. They let you go in and you could visit, but that's where they began their careers. Iconic piece. Rock and Roll inductees, Hall of Fame Rock and Roll inductees in 2002. What else can you say? The legendary Ramones. Once again, the grave of Joey Ramone. I hope all is well, and look forward to speaking to you guys very, very soon. Rest in peace, Joey Ramone.